Pizza's here.
Uh-oh. This is pre-Justice League pizza. Justice League's about to happen.
It's a big night, people.
Hello.
This is the pizza delivery guy. I'm in front of your building right now, in front of the main door.
I'm coming outside. Yo, what's up, Capers? This is Chris, the film school dropout with Capes Eat Free. And I'm with, of course, I'm with the...
We'll fill that in later. I'll come up with some. I have no idea what I want to call myself on this one. But we're doing it. Tonight's the night. It's rolling into midnight, yes. And Chris and I are going to jam on the Zack Snyder Cut.
The Zack Snyder Cut of Justice League. We're all amped up. We're all ready. When midnight hits, we're going to roll it. What do you think? This is before. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
What do you think? Good or bad? Better than Justice League?
Look.
Josh Whedon's cut, I guess.
Look. Justice League is the only superhero movie that I can think of that I honestly completely can confuse for Batman versus Superman. Like, I have such a hard time discerning what happens in those two movies. So I'm hoping that this Snyder Cut resolves all that. Like, I'm hoping that when we see everything, that everything that's happened so far in the DC cinematic universe somehow makes sense. Because so far, the DC cinematic universe has been an interesting disaster.
Interesting disaster. I will say this, because there's some good ones, there's some bad ones.
Right. And they keep trying to right the ship. But now here we are back at the Snyder Cut. So it's going to answer a lot of questions of what happened.
Right. Well, I mean, just a bit of a backstory, because they were planning to do this whole thing with Darkseid. They were planning to do this whole trilogy with the Justice League, kind of like building. That's kind of like what dealt in with Batman versus Superman, when Batman had those flashes of the Flash and those dreams, and he had the dreams of the.
You were right.
Yeah.
You were always right.
He dreamed of the flying things from Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Those were all supposed to play into this trilogy that then never happened because Justice League was not a success, or not enough of a success to get a sequel.
Yeah, it's a bizarre thing to see in Batman versus Superman, creatures and things that never again appear anywhere.
Exactly.
It makes it feel like everything's just sort of like they popped it in case they decided that they needed that as an escape route or something. If the whole thing wasn't working out, they could just go aliens, and then,
See, I felt that, yes, I thought they had it in there for a reason. I felt it was in there. I didn't like the fact that they just threw those little tidbits in like that, and they were just kind of like, hey, you have to watch the next one to see what happens. That I didn't like. I mean, you can leave me with a cliffhanger. You can leave me with something that I'm like, all right, I'm wanting to see. But you can't just throw some extra monsters in there and say, hey, there's some monsters, might see next episode.
Yeah, maybe. Depending if this Lex Luthor thing doesn't, get any traction. Well, the other thing is, so far, of all of it, Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and Justice League, my favorite thing that I've seen so far, my number one thing, that Wonder Woman sequence, I think at the beginning of Justice League was pretty sick.
Yes.
But my all-time favorite moment in these movies so far is still that shot of Jason Momoa just holding his breath underwater. They hadn't quite figured out how they were going to do that yet, so they just got him. Yeah, he's underwater, but definitely holding his breath.
Is this when he was looking at the footage in Batman
and
vs
those weird
Superman?
Security where are they getting this security footage?
They just had the security camera randomly in the ocean, and just happened to catch
right on this wreck that he just happened to come holding his breath out of. It just, I don't know. I remember I burst out laughing. It still is one of my favorite things. I don't know if this will trump that. I think it's certainly going to take its time trying. I mean, this movie, what does it clock in at?
I heard just under 4 hours. I think. Just under 4 hours, I think.
So Chris and I, we're all energied up, ready to rock.
I'll say this. No, I'm only using this as a track record. When I watched, I had some doubts with Batman versus Superman. When I watched the Snyder, they have the director's cut of that.
That's right, and they have
and it was longer, and it was more drawn out. I'm not gonna say drawn out. It was more. There was more plot development. There was more character development.
Yeah,
it actually made the movie better.
That's right.
But there was a lot more scenes where it wasn't action, but it did make the movie better. So this movie will be different because I think they added a lot of stuff that they
I don't
didn't
need
get to
the movie
shoot
so
before.
much to have
Yeah.
more action. I just need it I want it to make sense.
Right. No, but that's the big thing. Is like I'm hoping it makes sense. I'm pretty sure with all this hype, it has more action. I mean, from what I hear, I hear the Joker, and they actually bring the dark side,
that's
all
right.
this stuff. I hear all these rumors about what's going to be in it. So I'm just like, well, if they're weaving all that together, they have to it has to. They can't just. They're not just going off of footage that they had before that they cut out.
Well,
like they
before
did
I forget,
before.
I want to engage you in a wager. I'll bet you $100, dude, that this movie doesn't do a single thing to solve that Henry Cavill upper lip situation. I guarantee you. Unless Snyder just went ahead and just said and just put back the original footage, so he's just got a mustache in some of the shots.
Can Superman even grow a mustache? I don't know.
Do you think Snyder went back and kind of went and George Lucas to that lip, like gave it another kind of once over, like a little polish, or do you think it's still the same problem?
I think that's probably still the same problem.
That's okay. So you won't take me up on that bet?
No, I will not take you over $100 on Cavill's mustache.
What's so crazy is
I can't pay. I won't take any bets on this. I don't know what's up.
In the Joss Whedon edition, they actually kicked it off with that. With that weird upper lip.
Yeah.
They opened with that. And I remember it's such a weird choice because, and look, I'm sure the technology that went into that is incredibly impressive, but it's not perfect. And unfortunately, as we saw, like the upper lip is a very sensitive area to try and, super effect, special effect. And, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, I'm excited to watch. We're gonna
Doom, the Temple of Doom. I will just put it. I'll just put it on and just sort of, as background noise. It's one of my favorite movies to put on. They are incredible looking movies. Snyder has. I'm a sucker for his look, but I need a plot that at least breaks out of like the Transformers atmosphere.
Right.
Just with like this mother cube thing.
I mean, the mother box. That's going to be
mother box.
The mother boxes are going to be in it because they're already in the Justice League, so they're going to be. And honestly, that is one of the plots. That's one of the big things about Darkseid and Apocalypse.
Is the mother boxes?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like,
so,
you and I are pitching this plot line, and they're like going, "What?" And they're like, "No, there's going to be 3 mother boxes." And Steppenwolf, who? Steppenwolf. Where's he come from? He's an alien. Don't worry about it. He comes and he's looking for these mother boxes. Mother boxes? Yeah. What are they? I don't know. They're kind of like, what? Like the Infinity Stones? You mean like in the Infinity Gauntlet? How come Marvel gets dope terms like Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity Stone, and you two are over here shopping these mother boxes?
It's just glorified Rubik's Cubes.
It's just such a lame name, dude. Like it's.
I mean, they're interesting because they're supposed to be living computers. They're actually supposed to be alive. But,
cool.
But the thing is, they need to explain that in the movie.
Some point.
No, in the comics, in the cartoons, in the in the cartoon features and stuff, it's explained a little better. But
I'm realizing that some of that Cavill stuff may not even be in this version.
All right, you heard this. When you listen to the rest of this thing later on, after we've seen it,
We're gonna break it down.
Know what we said, and we're probably gonna lie, but you're gonna fact check us.
Yeah, all the hot takes.
Oh, we knew that. Yeah, we knew that.
Most toothless pre-games. All right,
guys. We're gonna watch this Justice League. I hope you all are watching this Justice League too. We'll be back. This is the segment Been at the Movies. All right, part 1 of this. Let's do it. Ha ha Been at the movies with Justice League. Yo, what's up, capers? This is Chris, the Film School Dropout. We back. Been at the movies.
It's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we watched the we turned on at midnight, just after midnight. We're giving you the review of the Justice League. Yes, we should be asleep, but yes, we're gonna give this to you right now.
I think that's just now. Say spoiler alert now, because I can't.
Spoiler alert.
I don't know what I'm gonna say next.
I know, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it, stop it, watch it, listen to this podcast right now. Anyway, this is
right. Okay.
The initial reaction. So my first reaction is, what? Why's it got to be 4 hours? Okay.
Well, the thing is it is a better movie. I think it does make the whole Whedon Justice League make more sense. I have a much clearer understanding of what I saw in 2017 actually was.
No, and I agree. I think that like actually fleshing out the characters, fleshing out the reason for the mother boxes, and fleshing out
those mother boxes.
Yeah, fleshing out the whole story of Darkseid, fleshing out why Steppenwolf is coming here and why he's coming here right now. Like at right after the death of Superman. So they believe there's no more protectors, so they can just come and ravage the earth because the Kryptonian is dead. That makes sense. That all of a sudden they decided to come in the Justice League, even though these mother boxes have been on Earth for thousands of years. There's a lot of good things about this movie.
Okay, what's name? I agree.
No, actually fleshing out the story and making everything make sense.
100%.
I mean, it didn't have to be 4 hours to do it, but I'm just saying, yes.
Well, there is a lot of fluff. I mean,
yes,
there is a lot of slow motion, songs, montages, getting into the second and third verse. I mean, there is a lot of fat. I mean,
I'll say at the beginning, I don't know why that lady was singing after Aquaman left.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, that's going to set up for something
singing
else.
like two verses, a chorus,
and it wasn't even full, like, I don't know, words. It was like, oh, like she felt something. Like,
well, no, we know what happened
in her heart.
No, they did explain what happened.
Oh,
dude, she was having his child.
So she got the fish stick.
Knew it.
So she got the fish stick.
The whole town knew it. They walked down there because she was, was out of wedlock, and like she was gonna get burned at the stake. But she gets to sing this lament to her love that he doesn't even stick around for. I mean, she's singing to like the ripples because he's already gone.
Even Bruce Wayne is leaving at that point. He's like, "Oh, this is."
Is this how you call him out?
Yeah. This is my wrap it up song. All right, let me go. That's what he was. That was Bruce Wayne. But I'm just saying, it's like, no, there was a few bloody scenes. Like, I actually stepped away for a second after there was this long shot after wasn't Diane's mother, the Amazonians, after they lost the mother box and
in slow motion
was dying, and she was over her body, and the song started.
Yeah,
a song started, and it just kind of did a slow pull out. I walked away and came back. That slow pull out was still happening. And I anticipated that, and I was right. That slow pull out still happened. That song, they played the whole verse of the entire song while the whole slow pull out. I'm like, dude, we got it.
And the thing is, I said this when we were watching it too. I feel like Zack Snyder's song selection is just lousy. It's ever since The Watchmen, that Hallelujah it's like he's been trying to like come up with something exponentially worse so that people don't, have a negative association to that song in Watchmen. But man, those songs were clunkers, dude.
I will say this, and this is with Zack Snyder, because the Watchmen songs, I felt like they felt like the time, at least.
Yeah.
Yes, no, they were
There's only
long.
one song
They
that-
dragged it. They dragged out a little bit, and Watchmen didn't need to be as long as it was. I will say that, but I'm saying that like at least the songs like gave you the mood of the time. These songs, I don't know, they took you the. It's supposed to be a Justice League action movie, it's a movie about hope, movie about unity.
Yeah, movie about heroes.
Yes, and they break into these opera-ish kind of songs. They break into these like, folk songs.
Anyone listening to this needs to know that Chris's impressions are in no way accurate. I mean, it is true.
They're accurate in the mood. They're accurate in the mood that's provoked.
As far as that he is singing a song and there is a song, yes, that does.
No, but the thing is, those songs, a lot of them did not really fit the scene.
No, it actually just made it hurt. I'd say when Lois Lane is running that coffee, that whole bit, and then when Flash is rescuing that girl. That whole, loses his shoes and has this whole moment, grabs the hot dog, stuffs it in his pocket. That really happens.
Yeah, no, hey, they made that make sense later on too.
Yeah,
I want to know if he got that job. I actually want to know.
I don't know. It's
4 hours we didn't know about that. Come on,
well,
that's
let me
what I
ask you
wanted
this:
to know about.
where do you rank what you just saw in the Zack Snyder filmography?
Gosh, the problem, and then the problem I feel like with this movie, and I'm gonna give you that ranking. I'm just giving you a precursor. The fact is, like, his movies are long. He has these songs, he has these long scenes, he has these beautiful shots.
The shots
that evoke emotion,
visually
that evoke
incredible.
mood.
Yeah,
and I feel like as a director, you want to tell a story visually. I think he does that. I think he does that melodramatically sometimes to the point where it's like overdone, where you could carve off 30 minutes. This one, I think you could carve off probably a good 2 hours, but the hour and a half, I'll give it an hour and a half because there was a lot more exposition of the story.
we were 2 hours in and Superman hadn't shown.
Right. They mentioned him one time.
Yeah.
They mentioned him once. I mean, after the very beginning when he was yelling, they mentioned him one time.
Yeah.
And I felt it was shoehorned in because, like Adam said, they hadn't mentioned him for 2 hours.
I forgot that he was coming. I thought we were 2 hours in.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Let's not talk about, because he's like, look, Zack Snyder has like movies that like 300, but there is this second tier of films. Would you put this Snyder Cut of Justice League, would you put it in league with what? Would you put it above like Sucker Punch?
See, yes, I'd put it above Sucker Punch. I mean, I'm not gonna put it above Watchmen. I do like Watchmen. And honestly,
you're not gonna put it above Watchmen.
But I would say this. I think that the fact that we already know what the story is, kind of made it drag a little bit.
When we were watching it. Yeah.
When I was watching, I mentioned this to him. Is like the fact that like you know what the story is. So when you see these long shots, I'm like, all right, I've seen this. All right, let's get to the next scene and see what's different. In my mind, because I've already watched Justice League a few different times, when I'm watching this one, I'm looking for differences. I'm looking for this, and that's one of the things that, like, I guess is a bad thing for a Zack Snyder movie that wants to like have these long scenes to invoke emotion, which I do get. So in that sense, I have to rate this movie in that because I already know the story. I already the plot.
Right, you've been given like a Cliff Note version, so you know where it's all going.
So
that's
some
true.
things seem like it drags. Some things seem like it drags, which it might not drag if I'm actually sad that Superman's died, or if I'm sad that the Amazons lost the mother box. So that scene,
box.
yeah, when the Amazons lost that mother box. If I didn't know they were going to lose it, I might be a little more emotionally involved. But at this point, I'm like, all right, that's how they did it. Next.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually, that is a good point. I just feel like after seeing that and now having a much clearer idea, and I have to say, Steppenwolf as a character is way more fleshed out. I think even visually, that is an impressive upgrade, and it does lend a lot to that story. I just question, it's just like, to me, I'm not sure that this story that we've been given is the best story worth telling, and very little of this has been earned. Like, they turned this around so quick. Superman barely survives one film in this, trilogy. Like,
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and then he dies, and then basically after destroying Metropolis twice, and they have like statues built for him and like, big placards and stuff, which makes sense to you and me watching it because the Superman we know is one, that people would lament like that. But in the fiction of Snyder's film, he's only been around so long, and most of that was like laying waste to Metropolis. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, like, who's in that fiction? Who's lamenting him for real? I'd say you're still and then like to kill him, you're expecting me to like, you're asking me and everyone in the fiction of the film to care. And I'm just saying it's not really earned. When Tony Stark snaps his fingers, man, that's how many films of build up to that moment.
Yes.
And I can't figure out what the rush was.
Well, the rush at the time was the fact that there was an Avengers movie, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta make a Justice League movie."
But who had that logic?
Some producers at Warner Brothers, and unfortunately, they're the ones who pushed this thing along to make it happen. It's probably why Nolan wouldn't want to be involved. But with Hollywood, yes, you have producers, and a lot of those producers will like push a project forward. I think Kevin Feige. I think Kevin Feige actually has a love for the actual story, has a love for like Marvel, and crafted the MCU to play out like how a comic book would play out, like a comic book storyline would play out. Like you'd see a comic book storyline continue in Spider-Man, then continue in Fantastic Four, then continue in, and then you'd see it like break up like that. And that's how you wanted to do with movies, which I think is a dope idea. Warner Brothers was trying to copy what they did.
Well, no, they weren't trying to copy. They were trying to cheat right to the finish line. And what I don't get is part of the Marvel model has been that you don't have to make a giant conglomeration of all your heroes in one movie. You can really stretch this thing out. That's what the Marvel model is.
Yes.
It's one piece at a time. And so if I'm Warner Brothers, I'm thinking, we don't have to rush this. We can start, if we start building out our DC cinematic universe the way that everyone's seen Marvel do it, then people will start coming to these movies in droves out of the gate. Mm-hmm. Standalone Superman, standalone Batman, standalone Aquaman, standalone Wonder Woman, and then
have it build to a Justice League.
But on top of that, I know I'm kind of like, maybe it's because I just sat through 4 hours of it, but Warner Brothers seems like they're still trying to figure out what this thing even is. Tonally, the Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman are all over the board.
Yeah. I read an article a while ago about
and they just said that this Zack Snyder cut is not canon.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, they're saying...
So the 4 hours we just watched is not canon?
It's not canon. So, Zack Snyder says that the...
So what happens at the end of the movie is just going to... They're not going to even continue with that.
What are they doing? Is there another is Henry Cavill even coming back?
No, Henry Cavill has talked about wanting to come back now.
Yeah, but why?
After this. I think it's after this. So I don't know if he filmed his scenes or he read the script or whatever and said, all right, now I'm ready to come back. Whatever happened, he's now said he's ready to come back.
But why is it your understanding that it was Cavill that didn't want to come back? I thought the studio kind of booted him.
I mean, I don't know the backstory. I'm only saying that like Cavill had the reason I say that is because Cavill turned down the Shazam. This is how it started because he turned down the Shazam cameo.
He turned it down,
and he didn't sign that contract. And at that point he didn't sign another contract. So people were saying he was out. He never said he was out, but no one ever said he was confirmed in either.
right?
So he's always been kind of like in flux, but he never signed another contract.
I see.
But the word is he's down to sign another contract now. That's why I say him, but you're right. I don't know. You never know.
Well, it's just I don't know. I don't know what happened there at all. I mean, speculations all over the board on that one. But dude, let's get to something. I need.
Yeah, let's get back on the
Because I kept
storyline.
I kept trying to ask you what you thought while it was happening, but you wouldn't say anything. But now I'm going to put you on the spot, dude. That Jared Leto cameo.
Hey, Sam. The one thing I will say is that Joker and the Jared Leto cameo laughed way more than he did the entire Suicide Squad movie. Joker laughs, and he laughed more times than the entire Suicide Squad movie. So
I mean,
you want to know something? What I was thinking it was when that was going on. You played Arkham. Spoiler for the video game, but like Joker dies.
Yeah,
and it haunts him.
Yes.
I was thinking it was him because they were doing the crazy like
focus
thing and and he was going. It was just them two for a little while going back and forth, and he was out of focus the entire time. I was thinking that, oh shit, this guy's in his head and he's killed the Joker already. Until he said he wasn't going. He planned on killing him. Until he said that. But
look, I don't. Okay, but what did you make of? This is Leto's second shot at interpreting this character. Was it an improvement?
I will say this. I'm not going to say he stayed level with the character.
What do you mean he stayed level?
He kept the same kind of character except for in a different situation. I felt. That's what I feel like. I feel like the character, which
no.
Good,
See, you're pulling punches. Pretend that I did that. pretend that was me. What would you say to me, knowing that Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger?
Well, the first question I would ask you is, so did the director tell you to do that?
I'd be like, well, we were just trying.
I tried to decipher how much is the director and how much was your
as far
creative license.
As far as like how far to allocate play. Well, dude.
But I would say, but the thing is, honestly want to ask that question with Suicide Squad as well.
Is he going to be in that too? Oh yeah.
No.
Oh no, he's not in it.
From what I heard, he's not in it. But all that could have changed at some point. It's COVID.
I gotta say, like, that thing looked to me. That performance looked to me like about as thought through as some of like the student films I was in early. Like it was like.
I can't say that being a film school student, ex-film school student. No. There's not a lot of thought in those film schools. I don't know what you're saying.
Well, it was just sort of this like
this is too much
it was like he gave up on the cocaine club Joker with the tattoos. He grew his hair out, kind of Tom Petty'd himself out, smeared the lipstick a little bit, laughed a little bit more, but then he was also like, it was like he'd been completely neutered. There was no menace in him. He was just kind of like,
right.
Like, I just, you could poison his cereal in front of him and he'd eat it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just like, at this point,
Right.
I got the sense he wants out. I mean, that seemed very half-hearted to me.
Well, I think they just brought him back in for that, but And that's one thing that I thought would be great for that scene is after Batman said his last lines about, like, you know, I mean, how he felt about him and that he wanted to kill him, and then he had that little pause before he said, "Oh, you almost got me." Well, he should have ended that scene is with a real fucking Joker
Yeah.
laugh, like a huge Joker laugh, just like laugh us out, and then like Batman just turns his attention away because he knows he's lost it because he's just laughing.
Right, but
that's
instead,
a real Joker.
But instead, it goes back to a normal conversation. Here, Chris, you try to be the rest of the Justice League, and I'll be the Joker. I'll be the Joker. Just like talk like, you know, Lex Luthor has the bomb or whatever, and I'll do.
Well, Lex Luthor has the bomb, and that, and we're gonna stop that, and we're gonna not let you get in the way. And if you step in the way, we're gonna stop you too, because we're the Justice League.
Dude, I don't know why I sound more like Danny DeVito doing the Penguin. But it was kind of like that. It was just like, what is going on?
It's like a duck with laughing gas.
They had us. I mean, the thing is, like, poor Jared Leto, because, like, you know, apparently there's like a movie's worth of performance that got cut out of Suicide Squad, and then in this Zack Snyder scene, Zack Snyder has him out of focus. I'd say 90% of the time.
Hence why I thought it was going to be like the whole a vision.
It's just like, hey man, yeah, you could be the Joker, but like they're never gonna see you. You know, like Joaquin Phoenix, you see that guy, like what goes on for that Joker, like when he's in the bathroom. You know, this guy can't even sit on the hood of someone else's car. With like a SWAT jacket on. It's just like, gosh.
And two, I want to say this, because that wound up being like a dream, I guess, premonition for Bruce Wayne, who wakes up again. I'm like, dude, why is Bruce Wayne having all these premonition dreams through the DCU? I mean, are they going to like discover that he has some kind of like psychic ability or something? Because Batman ain't supposed to have no powers. Like, I mean, I get
that's a good point.
Yeah, especially right after the Lex Luthor scene with Deathstroke. Which, I mean, they lengthened that a little bit by him exposing him as being.
Well, hold on. I'm realizing now that if I'm Warner Brothers, the way you save this entire thing is you get that Lex Luthor and that Joker in a road trip movie buddy comedy. That's a hit.
Just that one, or you want the Josh Whedon Batman? Because if you want it to be a buddy comedy, someone has to actually make a joke.
I don't care who directs.
I guess someone needs to laugh, so you need to get a real Joker.
You know, it'd be those, like, you'd see the car kind of like pulling through, you know, like the highway, open road, that kind of drone shot lifting up off the car, and then you just hear like Lex Luthor saying like, "Superman's in for a big surprise tonight." Wah, wah, wah. Hey, did you remember to put gas in the car when we went through Page? No, I thought you did. No, I didn't. Oh, where? Where's my wallet? I stole it and used it to steal your identity. That's fine because I own the company that finances you anyway. Dude, I don't know.
No, hey. Oh, well. So overall, what do you think about it?
Are you trying to wrap this up? Is that what's?
No, I mean, we got to wrap it up. And there's actually tons of stuff I would say, and maybe we'll save it for another podcast.
Yeah. But like, I'll say this: I still prefer the director's cut of Batman versus Superman over the Joss Whedon cut. I mean, the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yes.
This Justice League is a treasure. It's an oddity. It's an unbelievable relic that we now have that, you know, I think that fanboys actually manifested. You know, there was such a clamoring for this that we actually got it, and now we have it. And in that sense, I think that's really cool.
Yes.
I don't know that I'm ever going to be popping that thing on again, though. Like, I've seen it.
In the background, know what's in it. You're not going to pop it on and watch it for 4 hours straight.
Well, you know what? The thing is, like, the Joss Whedon Justice League doesn't make sense whether you're paying attention to it or not. So that is easy to have on in the background. But this, and I got to give Zack Snyder credit, like, this makes sense. This movie,
Yes.
I followed it, and there was a higher sense of stakes for me in this.
Yes.
But it's still, this whole thing is still a clunker. It just is. This story just isn't. It just never hooked me as far as caring. You know, I mean, I'll go see any movie with any of these characters in it, but this just is not the story I was hoping for. Maybe that's
Interesting.
what it is.
Because
you know?
I mean, I didn't feel that way. Because I did. I mean, granted, my problem was the fact that I already knew the bones of the story already, and so they just kind of like put some meat around those bones, but it was still the same bones.
Yes.
But like I said, it made sense. I do want to say this because we didn't mention this before. The whole revamping of Steppenwolf is a huge improvement. Like to
We
me,
did mention
the
this.
look. Oh well.
I brushed on it, but yes, I agree. I actually think that's one of the major takeaways.
Yes, I mean, on top of just like changing his look, changing his armor, they changed the character so he's just not making a bunch of one-liners. They made him more menacing. At first, when the movie started, I was like, he sounds just weird because I was just used to the other guy. But as the movie went on, obviously they had plenty of time to get me hooked. As the movie went on, I actually felt this one was more menacing. And then as you see him bowing to Darkseid, as you see him like, you saw that he is kind of like weak on his world. Even though he's strong here, he's weak on his world. And so he's all trying to like prove himself. And to me, I did see that. I saw that in the character, even though the character was CG. I actually saw that in the character.
Yes.
I saw that in...
I actually thought the CG was pretty impressive. And I have to say, it was hard for me to watch Zack Snyder's Darkseid and not want to see more of that dude. Like, I was intrigued. Like, that did intrigue me. And the idea of Darkseid as a big bad is compelling. And what Zack Snyder did with him, I really liked. It's interesting to me, though, that, I mean, because you just said, like, the bones are the same. And yet, it's important that Warner Brothers make sure that everyone knows that this isn't canon. And yet, the story is still essentially the same. Like, what are they worried about being canon? The Martian Manhunter element?
I'm guessing the Martian Manhunter element, this whole alternate reality thing that's at the end, that in the epilogue.
But we already know that Warner's is looking at an alternate universe. Michael Keaton's coming on board. They're definitely looking at a multiverse model.
Right.
So what do they care? Do you know what I mean? Like, why?
Well, they might be caring because they already have other ones already in process being made, and so this, I mean, they don't want us to look forward to like, all right, we're gonna see Joe Magdalene as Deathstroke fighting.
Spell that out, Joe.
There's a lot of letters in that name. Hey, but
I think there's a G in there.
Magatalian. I don't.
You
know. Laugh at me. You tell me what's his name. Go ahead.
It's, Joe. Joey.
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 Yeah.
He said, "What from True Blood?" Joey True Blood.
I mean, because there was a storyline when Ben Affleck was supposed to do Batman, that it was going to be him and Deathstroke, like them two.
Yeah, and I dug it.
Yes,
I
dug that.
It looked very promising.
And see, and that's one of the problems I had, which I didn't get to finish my statement before, was that right after you see that Lex Luthor scene with him, they go to the dream sequence, I guess, winds up being with Batman and him. They're teamed up. They give him a mohawk so you can see it's a different time. But they're teamed up, so it just kind of like cuts the balls off of just like, oh, he's once he finds out it's Bruce Wayne, oh, he has big plans.
Yeah,
and then
you see that
we see them hang
eventually
out together,
they're gonna
together. It's just like it just cut. All right,
the Joker's just eating like a ham sandwich.
Yeah, doesn't matter what happens in between there.
Yeah, it does neuter it. That's a good point. Well, it's just, I don't know. I feel like in a way watching the Snyder Cut kind of makes me want, gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but having seen this now feels like a punctuation mark on this whole thing. Like, I just don't know what is left here to really salvage. we haven't talked about Wonder Woman 1984, but like,
No, we haven't.
you know, I don't know that.
Maybe we will.
Yeah, maybe we will.
We should. Yeah.
But I'm not. You know, having seen that, I'm not sure that's crying out for a sequel. You know, like it's you're kind of you're running out of like what's really worth keeping here.
Right.
And I think in some ways I feel like seeing the Snyder Cut, it's almost like watching one of your favorite shows end unexpectedly. And so they have to kind of hustle up an ending to try to wrap things up. It's also kind of open-ended because they had no plans on ending then and there, but that's kind of what you get. This kind of felt that way to me, and part of me just would like it to just, you know, let's do a...
No, and I guess knowing that like they want to make sure it's not canon because the Flash story feels like it does set up what Flashpoint could be.
Well, yeah, it does. Which is what
like
makes it so odd to me that they'd go out of their way to say that, hey, this isn't canon, because it actually does a much better job than Joss Whedon's film did. Of, I don't even know why we're calling it Joss Whedon's film. He stepped in kind of late in the game.
He stepped in kind of late in the game and wrote in some jokes.
Yeah,
so.
That's very apparent now. And he cut he cut all the fat and then some.
Yes,
because it made it. You know, it will be interesting for me to watch Whedon's version now that I have all the subtext. But no.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you know, we're probably going to end this right now, but let's say, no, let me tell you something. If you haven't watched it, watch it. There's tons more to talk about.
Yeah, it is a must watch.
This podcast is a initial, literally right after we watch it. We may have another one where
Rapid
we actually
reaction
thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, let me ponder it for a bit, and then we'll do one episode for every hour of it.
So get ready for 8 hours of podcast. Been at the movies with the Justice League Snyder Cut. No. Copy that. All right, Capers. I'm out here right now. I'm gonna actually try to get some sleep because you know it's damn near the next day. He said damn near. It is the next day. So. And we have Adam with us. This is Chris Film School Dropout. KFC Free. We're out of here, and we been at the movies. Been at the movies with
Justice League.